and welcome to the Movies Past and Present podcast. It's May 19th, 2020, and this is episode 45. I'm your host, Stanford Clark, and I'm podcasting from the crossroads of the West in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah. Just like my blog, moviespastandpresent.com, I'll be providing recommendations, commentary, and reviews about current and classic cinema. Thanks for tuning in, and let's do this thing. Greetings, everyone. I hope you are safe and well. Here we are, still in the midst of our COVID-19 experience, and while things are opening up, I think many of us still are sheltering in place and trying to do our best to socially distance and just to stay at home. So this episode has just some more options on what to watch at home, and also and some other ideas for you as we're trying to get by in this unique time. So first up is a new video-on-demand title that just was released last weekend. It's from Warner Brothers Pictures. It's SCOOB, which of course is short for Scooby-Doo. But it's a fully animated Scooby-Doo feature film that was supposed to open in theaters, and again, Warner Brothers decided to put it on video on demand rather than hold it back. So it was released last Friday. Now, I got to tell you, I haven't watched SCOOB. SCOOB has had some pretty dismal reviews, and it's also, it's kind of expensive. I guess you look at it in the big picture, maybe it's not that expensive, but you can either buy it and own a digital copy of it outright for $25, or you can spend $20 and watch it within a viewing window. It's almost like you're renting it, and you compare that to taking your whole family out to the movie theater or whatnot. It could very well be a good deal, but $20 just for one viewing of it didn't sound that great to me. Here's the summary of SCOOB from the official SCOOB website. I've got links to this on the podcast notes on my blog. But this, as I mentioned, is the first full-length animated Scooby-Doo adventure for the big screen. As you may recall, this, just a little digital commentary, there have been some live-action versions, or kind of a live-action CGI hybrid of Scooby-Doo, where there's been, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's been a digitally animated Scooby-Doo character, and then the actors have been, quote-unquote live-action, and then just countless video or kind of direct-to-video Scooby-Doo animated movies. But this is the first, one that they put on the big screen. Although, based on what I've heard, even though it's starring these Scooby-Doo characters, it's not necessarily a Scooby-Doo film. We'll get to that in a sec. So, it's the never-before-told stories of Scooby-Doo's origins and the greatest mystery in the career of Mystery Incorporated. SCOOB reveals how lifelong friends Scooby and Shaggy first met and how they joined with young detectives Fred, Velma, and Daphne to form the famous Mystery Incorporated. Now, with hundreds of cases solved and adventures shared, Scooby and the gang face their biggest, most challenging mystery ever, a plot to unleash the ghost dog Cerberus upon the world. As they race to stop this global dog-pocalypse, in quotes, the gang discovers that Scooby has a secret legacy and an epic destiny greater than anyone imagined. So, what I understand is that Warner Brothers is trying to create what people are calling a Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe. So, I don't know about you, but I grew up on watching Saturday morning cartoons, and a staple was 30-minute cartoons created by the Hanna-Barbera studio. And these range from everything from, of course, Scooby-Doo is, I think, one of the most popular ones, But the Flintstones, the Jetsons, Yogi Bear, and then a myriad Super Friends, which I know is using DC Comics characters, but any number of titles. And so in this film, Scoob, not only are they using the Scooby-Doo characters, but they bring in a superhero called the Blue Falcon and his dog called Dynamite. I hear Captain Caveman makes a cameo. Maybe that's a bit of a spoiler alert. Dick Dastardly, who was a villain in the Wacky Racers cartoon, is playing the big bad guy in this one. So they're starting to bring in some of these different characters. So what I've read is that Scoob is less of a Scooby-Doo kind of classic mystery, and more of a bigger film with these different characters. In fact, I've heard it called more of a superhero film than an actual Scooby-Doo film. So I thought the idea of a Hanna-Barbera expanded universe sounded really cool, but I was sad that they didn't really keep with the classic Scooby-Doo idea, and then it sounds like how they've introduced these other characters is possibly a bit problematic. The voice cast is good. They've got Zac Efron, Amanda Seyfried, Mark Wahlberg plays the Blue Falcon. Anyway, I don't think they didn't necessarily skip on the voice talent. It sounds like they might have just been confused about the script. I think that there were 5 or 6 writers credited with it, and so probably lots of rewrites and lots of different things. The animation looks decent. Warner Brothers has released the first 5 minutes of the film, which they've put on their YouTube channel. I've got a link to that in the podcast notes on my blog if you want to go check that out. That's talks a little bit about the origins of when Shaggy met Scooby and kind of the Mystery Incorporated gang. But anyway, disappointing news about Scoob. Maybe one of these days I'll actually watch it when I don't have to pay $20. One other thing just to note, in this interesting time that we're living with the COVID-19 pandemic, is the drive-ins are making a bit of a comeback, I've read, in the United States. And, what a great idea. I think there's still the challenge of, where do you go use the restroom? How does that part work? But there's a theater here in Utah. I've read that what they've been doing is they have an actual movie theater which has been closed, but they're letting people come into their parking lot, and then they've been projecting films on their exterior wall of the building. And then you just tune into a radio frequency to get the sound. And then Salt Lake City itself has an actual drive-in that's open during the summer months. It's the Redwood Drive-In, and they've been open for business. And again, I'm not sure if their restrooms are open. I heard of that other drive-in that's just there where you go into their parking lot. They don't let you get out of your car, so there's that. But I think if you're interested, search online for a drive-in near you, and maybe relive that classic experience, and we'll see what happens through the summer if drive-ins are going to be a viable option. I know that the Redwood Drive-In in my market where I live here in Salt Lake City has been playing really the only quote unquote new film. They've been playing Trolls World Tour, but they also have been playing that kind of horror movie The Hunt, and then they've been playing Knives Out, and anyway, interesting. So something to check in on. So there you have it. SCOOB, and then check your local listings and see if a drive-in is available. If that's going to help kind of feed your movie craving. While we're still sheltering in place somewhat, here's just some more watch-at-home movie ideas. A couple of these right now they're kind of old school, but I think they're kind of fun. I probably am going to tune in and check it out. But both the ABC television network and the CBS television network are bringing back movie nights. This was a staple of my childhood and how we watched a lot of movies. We'd watch them, on TV. Of course, they've got commercials, and occasionally they're edited for time and for content. But still, this is great. So ABC is bringing back The Wonderful World of Disney, which was a staple of my childhood, and it's going to be on Wednesday nights. And it's starting this Wednesday, so tomorrow night on May 20th. And they're going to show some Disney and some Marvel movies and Pixar too. So just movies that the Walt Disney Studios own, but they'll be showing them on TV. So on Wednesday, May 20th, the first film in the series will be Walt Disney Animation Studios' Moana, and I've put a link on in the podcast notes, but it sounds like that. The songwriter Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote a little show called Hamilton that you might have heard of, he wrote some of the music for Moana, as well as Moana, the voice of Moana herself, Ali Carvalho. They're going to be live tweeting during this. And that could just be a lot of fun, a fun way to watch it. So that's happening on Wednesday. Then on May 27th, they're going to be showing Marvel Studios' Thor: The Dark World. Then on June 3rd, they're going to be showing Up, the great movie from Pixar. And then on June 10th, they're going to show Walt Disney Animation Studios' Big Hero 6. So super cool. I think that's really fun. So the Wonderful World of Disney is making a comeback here for the next few weeks on ABC. Also on CBS, they've been doing it all the month of May. But it's Sunday Night of the Movies, and they are featuring movies from the Paramount Pictures library, which is part of that Viacom CBS corporate family. But there are two films left, since we've got 2 Sundays left in the month of May. This upcoming Sunday, May 24th, they're going to be showing Titanic. So you can get the tear ducts ready and get ready to hear some Celine Dion. That's happening on Sunday, May 24th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central. Again, check your local listings. And then on Sunday, May 31st, it's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. So, and that's actually at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Again, check your local listings. But how fun. So that's going to be on CBS. And I should probably say, sorry to backtrack a little bit, but Moana will be playing on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So again, check your local listings. But going old school and watching movies on network TV. Just a reminder, and I've talked about this in a previous podcast, but the American Film Institute, or AFI, is continuing their ongoing daily movie club, they're calling it. And they are just giving recommendations of films to watch at home. They typically have a celebrity that introduces the film. They have a little YouTube video, and then their website has some content that talks that to give some context or some history about the film. So, for example, today's film is the Warren Beatty drama Reds from 1981, and it's one that and on the AFI website they have links to where you can watch it, and typically, and they've partnered with Apple TV, and so there's often just a link, and you can rent it, or some of these are available on streaming services too. But they've just it's a cool way to watch a movie and to enhance your film going literacy. So just movies that they've had the last week or so. Yesterday's movie club film was Sleepless in Seattle, the Nora Ephron film with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. They had Straight Outta Compton, which, again, an interesting choice. So not all of these movies are necessarily family friendly, but the variety is good. Alfred Hitchcock's North by Northwest, John Ford's Stagecoach. Then, it just goes on and on. They've had The Sound of Music, Easy Rider, Sullivan's Travels, and Chicago. Anyway, just a wide variety of films, a wide variety of genres, and I think it's really been a great idea. I haven't been able to watch the movies every night, but wow, if you need an idea or get some ideas of some films to watch, with yourself, a loved one, with your family, all of the above, this could give you some ideas. This Friday, May 22nd, the D23, which is the official fan club of the Walt Disney Company, they're hosting with noted film historians Leonard Maltin and his daughter Jessie Maltin, a chat with the actress Haley Mills, who starred in the film Pollyanna. So the Disney film Pollyanna, if you can believe it or not, it's celebrating its 60th anniversary. It was released in 1960, and it's available to watch streaming on Disney Plus, on the Disney Plus streaming service. But Leonard Maltin and his daughter Jessie are going to interview Haley Mills, and they're going to show that online. And then also D23 is having what they're calling a Pollyanniversary, which is, again, celebrating the 60 years of this film. And they've got some at-home activities that they're promoting and supporting, giving you some things to do surrounding the movie, and then again sponsoring this interview with the Disney legend Haley Mills. So I can't say Pollyanna is such a bittersweet movie. It's kind of, it's tender, but kind of sad because it's just definitely a film of its time period. But that could be fun, particularly the interview with Haley Mills. I've got links to this information in the podcast notes on my blog, as always. So some options to think about over the next few days about movies to watch at home. Okay, speaking of watching movies at home, this, if you can believe it, next Monday, May 25th, it's Memorial Day. Here we are. Where's the time gone? I guess we've just been at home. we might be at home this weekend. We'll see. But still, Memorial Day's here, And not only is it a great holiday, but it's also a great time to remember our service people who have lost their lives while serving our country. And Turner Classic Movies is having a great Memorial Day marathon on their network, where starting Saturday, May 23rd, through Memorial Day on May 25th, they're going to be showing 3 days of movies. They're going to have basically a Memorial Day marathon of movies about conflicts that the U.S. has been involved in that range from the Civil War to the Vietnam War. So all sorts of movies are going to be covered. They've got a complete list of them on the TCM website. I've got a link to that in the podcast notes on my blog, and I'm looking forward to tuning in to some of these too. The Civil War dramas range from The Red Badge of Courage, which was made in 1951, to Glory, the great film from 1989 with Denzel Washington and Matthew Broderick. And then they've got some cool World War I movies with the classic Wings from 1927, which is a very classic silent film. Then, of course, there's just a bunch of World War II films since so many of those films were made. I'm looking forward to watching 30 Seconds Over Tokyo, which is made in 1944. They're also going to be showing The Dirty Dozen, The Great Escape. So anyway, cool stuff. The Korean conflict is represented by the Steel Helmet, and they're also going to show The Green Berets, which stars John Wayne. It's made in 1968. So anyway, lots of good stuff. So check out the TCM website. Again, I've got a link on the podcast notes, and you can see what if any of these films will be part of your Memorial Day celebration. Well, that does it for this episode of the Movies Past and Present podcast. Again, links and more information about all of the movies discussed in today's podcast can be found in the podcast notes on my blog at moviespastandpresent.com. As always, I hope you'll enjoy some good movies this week, whether they be from the past or the present. Until next time, thanks for listening and be safe out there.